Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Ryan's Real Reactions, Triple R. Thank you for all the love on the channel so far. We are right at 1,000 subs. We're, as I'm recording this, like 40-something away. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. That's incredible. I made this channel 4 days ago, and we're almost at 1,000. So maybe this upload will get us there. Please consider subscribing to the new channel, brand new reaction channel for all things true crime, body cam, police interrogation, whatever related content, all going to be housed here. So thank you for that. Number 2, like this video. Help get the algorithm pushing us with a like and a comment. Every video that you watch on this channel, if you can give it a like and a comment, it will help me out a lot, help us grow this community here. And just know I'm very appreciative of it, and I'm going to be pumping out this content as a thank you to you guys. I'm currently not partnered, currently not making any money from it, but I do it for the love of the game, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm just trying to do my best. That being said, let's get into the reaction content today. It's from JCD Criminal Psychology. Apparently, this channel was not uploading for years. Perfect timing for me. They uploaded 2 weeks ago. The title is Husband Tries to Act Sad. I guess when you have a channel that big, you don't have to do flashy titles and thumbnails like I have to do. But this will be my first interrogation video on this channel. And, you know, I'm excited about it. It looks like it'll be a doozy. It's got 3.3 million views in 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's get going. Here we go.
According to CBS News, 50-year-old stay-at-home husband David Tronis desperately wanted to appear on reality television. In late April of 2018, he managed to secure himself a spot on the show Zombie House Flipping, where he
What is zombie house flipping? Is that it sounds like a video game.
He would be featured renovating his newly bought house with his then-wife, 39-year-old financial consultant Shanti Cooper. The only problem was that Shanti wasn't nearly as interested in being on TV, so she refused to sign off on the program, which resulted in David beating and then strangling her to death in the
Whoa! We skipped a couple chapters here.
early hours of the following morning.
She didn't want to be on a zombie house flipping reality show, so he did that?
He called 911 roughly 12 hours later at 3:51 p.m.
Oh my.
Hello?
Oh, now he's crying.
Okay, listen to me. Can you tell me what your address is?
Police and paramedics soon arrived at the residence, where they were met with a hysterical David performing CPR on Shanti in the living room. His immediate explanation was that he found her lying unconscious in a partially filled bathtub.
Oh yeah, I bet he found her all right.
Bleeding from the nose and mouth. He was then taken to the police station as a witness, where they swapped out his blood-stained clothing for a custody suit. He was also given a water, a blanket, and a box of tissues, then taken to room 6, where
I like that they just pointed out he was given a water.
he was reassured that someone would be right with
He was given Doritos, a Diet Coke.
him to answer his questions, which wasn't entirely true. He was left in there by himself for 4 hours and 9 minutes before he knocked on the door to use the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to bother you. May I go to
what's
the
up?
bathroom?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
It wouldn't take a genius to recognize that David's behavior is already suspicious. Ask yourself if you'd be acting like this in the scenario he's claiming to be in.
Right.
You find your significant other unresponsive in a bathtub. Then police leave you in a cold room for 4 hours without telling you anything. You might just ask someone, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
Or what the status of your wife is.
Yeah, if that happened to me and I was, you know, you were innocent and nothing happened on your end, I mean, I would be frantic, like trying to just get answers. I'd be going crazy. This dude's just sitting there like, you know, in his mind doing Sudoku puzzles.
And you probably wouldn't be all that polite and apologetic for just trying to use the bathroom.
Right.
He returns from the bathroom and sits there for another 3 minutes.
I'm guessing they leave you sit there for 4 hours or so because they suspect something. So I would assume they're trying to see what your mental state is. So it's like, let's see if they freak out, they admit something, they, you know, whatever.
The detectives will now enter the room to commence the interrogation. The time is 9:08 p.m.
Sir,
Hey.
I'm Detective Sprague. Can I get your first name?
First name is David.
David? Okay. We're gonna grab another chair.
Okay.
Did you need something?
I was just asking for a bottle of water.
Okay, we can grab you.
Thank you.
Have you been to the restroom?
I just want.
You just want. Okay. How about anything else? Anything else?
I'm starving.
Sorry that I blocked the text, but what can you do?
A cracker or just something,
You and
just
me
with some
both.
salt, right?
Did you eat lunch? I did not eat lunch.
Don't be fooled by the detective's disposition. They're already certain that David has committed either first or second-degree murder.
Yeah, they're just trying to, get him to cracker.
They don't quite have enough evidence to place him under arrest, which is why they need a confession. David, at this moment, is still free to walk out of that police station.
Oh,
so
wow.
the detectives will keep the tone sympathetic and non-confrontational for the time being to keep him on that chair. They'll
No.
afford him the false belief they are buying into his act as the grieving husband. But as soon as he gives them his initial version of events, the pressure will rapidly accelerate, in a manner that David is in no way anticipating.
What would you like to eat? And I'll run down.
Just something simple, just like saltines or peanut butter crackers. Or
Anything
something.
like that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
He's like, can I get a double-double? Animal style.
We'll be right back.
Here's your water, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I can take that one.
Yes.
Okay, a couple of things. Okay, is that good?
Perfect.
All right. I'm with you. I haven't eaten since this morning. I'm sorry this is taking so long. You are David, I believe? Okay, all right. I'm Detective Teresa Sprague, and this is Detective Barb McClelland.
Hey.
Hey.
First of all, on behalf of the Atlanta Police Department, we want to say how sorry we are for your loss.
So
Oh,
this
no, the fake crying.
The first, out of a total 11, of David's fake cries.
Exactly. You could just the when someone starts crying, it's like a gradual thing. It's not from nothing to it's not how it works.
Their intensity level will peak about halfway through this video, during some of the more embarrassing performances you're ever likely to witness on the internet.
David's not winning any Oscars.
But from that moment on, you'll notice these acts steadily diminish, as the detective makes it more and more abundantly obvious that she knows he's lying.
David, and also for everything that you're going through. I know this is very traumatic for you. Okay?
They start by collecting David's basic information.
Okay. Blonde or brown hair?
I love both.
Blue. Okay. Okay. Hazel eyes, maybe?
I'll take hazel.
Blue? Hazel? Okay.
They're dirty blue. Yeah.
Okay.
Dirty blue.
Is there a home phone?
There is.
Okay.
I can't remember the last four digits. It's 407.
Can't remember your home phone number? I can recite my home phone number from where I grew up I'm not going to do it, but within a millisecond.
The next three are easy, 704, the opposite, and I never call it.
The next three are 704?
It's 407, 704, and then I think it's 2808. It might be 2406, but I have it in my phone. I haven't. We've had it since we were at Briarcliff.
And when did you move to Florida?
In 2013,
I'm telling you, things always go down in Florida, man.
Okay.
about 5 months after I met Shanti.
Did you meet her here or there?
No, why?
You met online? Okay. Can you tell me what year that was?
It was 2013.
2013 is when you met online?
Yeah.
Okay.
We met on Facebook.
And about 5 months later, did you move here and move in with her, or just move here?
I'll try to be as accurate as possible. I believe it was the end of September.
So you guys knew each other approximately 5 years this month.
Oh boy. Here we go. He's a very boo-hoo fake crier. And a lot of like a gorilla. Like the shoulders are moving, the head's moving. It's very theatrical. Putting on a show.
I've never been more in love. We were so happy.
I bet. She just didn't want to be on a reality show, so I ended her life.
Okay. If you don't, I know you've probably never been through anything like this in your life, okay? And I'm going to help you get through it. So if you have questions, you want to stop me, please do so, okay? but I do need you to understand your rights before we ask you about anything that happened in that home today.
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to not cry like an idiot.
All right. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? I'm sorry?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Absolutely? Okay. All right.
How the heck did I get an ad? Oh, that's why I'm not on my other channel. Hold on. My main, I have a channel where I watch things on, where it has YouTube Premium on it. And I was signed into the other channel, the real one. Okay, hold on.
Every other weekend.
How you all shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
No ads. I don't want you to get more ads than you already get.
Absolutely.
Absolutely? Okay. All right. So I need you to...
I thought it was like I thought they might have put a brand deal in there. I was like, oh no. Can you imagine a freaking brand deal promo in like an interrogation video? I've seen YouTubers that'll do that. They'll be like, wow, it's crazy that the police tracked him down. If you're afraid someone's tracking you down, get NordVPN. It's like, okay, buddy.
We're going to continue kind of down this path about how you all met. I know you met on Match.com.
Match.com, okay. Not a good PR there for Match.com.
About 5 months of, what would it be, telephone, text, and...
We just started every other weekend.
They hit it off, moved in together, then went looking for a house to buy in Florida.
We had an offer on a short sale and waited and waited and waited and it fell through. And then we closed on the house on Copeland in April of 2015.
So that you guys own the house free and clear. Is your name only on it, or was it both of yours?
When we bought the house, we weren't married. And so we put it in a trust, and we just completed the trust paperwork.
He put the house in his and his mother's names while leaving his wife out of it.
That's pretty shady.
For, quote, planning and financial reasons. He asserts the decision was mutual,
He was
but whether
planning all
Shanti
right.
actually knew about this or not is unclear.
And you've been, so once you moved to Florida, you've been living together the whole time, just home to home, just first with folks, then Briarcliff, and then this residence. But you've been together the whole time. Have you ever broken up?
We had a couple fights.
Have you ever broken up? We had a couple fights. Right. So have you ever broken up?
I think when we were living at Briarcliff,
Okay.
we spent a few nights apart.
He says that he just spent a few nights with his mom, then drifts off into a statement about how Shanti was dedicated to work. The detective will now cut him off and steer the line of questioning back to the argument.
But she's
So
a strong
when you
business.
guys would argue, when you would go to your mom's, it was just because she was busy all the time, or what would the beef be?
The work had a lot of stress involved,
Oh.
and she would sometimes. We always agreed, later that she was just overworked and tired and
So she'd get a little snippy or short or yell, scream, what?
just irritable.
Irritable.
Just irritability. And sometimes it just, that's not really, I don't really do that. It's not really, I just stand there and
I don't really do that. No, you're right. You don't argue. You just end their life. So, good job there, David.
so I just.
Now I understand why the title is "Husband Tries to Act Sad," because we're 9 minutes in and he's just trying to act sad.
I would just say, why don't we take a break, or just let it, a little cool down period, and every time we did it, we came back. I think we only did it twice, but we were stronger.
Okay. And has that happened since you moved where you are now? Because now we've got the added stress of the renovation.
No, we love it. We love the...
This is Keith Ory, the producer of the house flipping show that David wanted to be on.
When you would be interacting with the Torontos related to your work on the house and also the show, who was your primary point of contact?
Oh, Dave was. He would communicate her desires. I would see her, but it was more like Dave's full-time job, almost, I guess I would say.
Did you ever know during your time that you knew Dave to have any other job?
I was aware that he had explained to me that he had worked for a chemical company up north somewhere.
I actually never knew what Dave did for a living.
That's not good. Hey, also, random thing. Is this normal that I've been doing this late? Like, I'm not even that stressed out. I've been having some health issues, right? But, like, I've noticed that I've started this thing of, like, chewing on bottle caps. Is that normal? Like, what does that mean? What does it mean that I'm chewing on bottle caps? Does anybody have any idea what that means? Because I don't think I ever did this before, and now suddenly I'm a bottle cap chewer. Does anyone else do that? I just wanted to know. Does that mean I'm frustrated or something?
When
I'm in a good
my
mood.
husband had asked him, he said he was into sales, but I don't really know what that means.
Maybe he was into seals.
David never worked in sales or at a chemical company.
Oh, wow.
You're now about to see Keith explain that he insisted on having a formal sit-down with Shanti to make sure that she was fully on board.
It was difficult to get them both together, but I explained ultimately that we couldn't go forward if I wasn't able to sit down with them both.
Ultimately, you're able to get this sit-down scheduled. Tell the jury about that meeting.
I arrived at the house to meet Dave and Shanti, and she was, by my estimation, unhappy to be there. And it was in a sort of a tense state. It was obvious that she was unhappy with something, and she was only there as long as she absolutely had to be.
You know, not everybody wants to be on reality TV and also doesn't want their house being on reality TV and all of their things. I totally get that. You know, this was clearly a dream of his and not hers.
And then left.
This all occurred 6 days before Shanti was murdered.
Wow.
We love what we're doing to the house. We love the vision that we had for the house. It's totally, I mean...
Here he goes.
Oh, she worked for us, but she wanted so bad. It made me happy. It made her happy. It was a thing that we did together. She wanted to quit her job. When we got the house done, or just kind of, slowly phase out of it. She thought, a couple of times that she would really need to take a break, and definitely slow down, and definitely not
You slowed her down.
add a whole lot more work. She could do more if she wanted to. I'm sorry, I can't talk about it any faster.
That's fine. And that's very normal. I think that's very normal. Because
The sniff. When you're crying like that and you sniff like that, it makes some crazy noises because there's a bunch of stuff coming out of it. He's dry as a bone. I haven't seen him wipe a single tear. There ain't nothing coming out of his nose.
you're not going to process this for a really long time. So I know it feels like a really bad.
The freaking caption. Are
Now notice how quickly he manages to pull himself out of the depths of despair and into casually talking about his house flipping show.
We, Keith also just, our lives are busy. I'm so sorry. I know you're asking simple questions.
Man, that's crazy. Within 5 seconds, from being in shambles to Keith, also.
Keith does a TV show, a home improvement.
Keith, the guy
Ori.
you mentioned, Ori? Okay.
It's called Zombie House Flipping,
Keith asked them to be on the show.
which meant that we would get a lot of what they call trade-outs and promotional sponsorship to do
Any financial incentive to do that?
big. That's what they call trade-out. I'm sorry, that's what they call trade-outs. So their sponsors, that's one of the things I was working on yesterday, was putting together a list of the sponsorships, the windows, doors, cabinets, and so maybe instead of getting granite, you get quartz, or maybe instead of...
Look, this is insane. I know I'm blocking it, and I'm sure you're like, Ryan, you could move yourself to the top left. It's just a lot of moving parts, because then I got to unlock things on my computer. It's whatever. So maybe instead of getting granite, you get quartz. Like, this man who believes in his is playing this role that his wife was killed in it, and he has no idea what happened, and now he's just randomly like, you get granted, you get courts. Like he could care less about her.
Yeah.
He's so into this house.
Middle range cabinets, you get high-end stuff. And we're also working on kind of just an amazing open concept stairway in the middle of the house that was going to go all the way up to the loft.
And so they'd come in and start filming?
I think he was in love with the house more than he was in love with Shanti.
Would they film you all or just the work?
No. Yeah, it's just the house. They're the stars.
Pay no attention to David's no. He fully understood that he would be featured prominently on the show as the main builder construction guy.
Yeah.
The so-called stars he's talking about are the hosts. The detective will now establish a timeline.
So when she comes home Sunday, it's you, Jackson, and Shanti, and you just stay at home and have a pool get together?
We only have them every other Sunday. It's our family day, and we do like to have an early meal, watch a movie.
So, do you recall Sunday night about what time everybody goes to sleep, since you're all
We
in
go
the
to
same
bed
room?
early on school nights, so
Okay.
8:30 we're winding down. 9 o'clock lights are low.
Shanti's son gets picked up the next day at around 5 p.m.
So the fact that he did this is ridiculous enough. The fact that he did it while he has a son with her, I mean, it's just diabolical.
5 p.m.-ish, okay. All right, and then do you guys go anywhere, do anything, or you stay at home?
I think we made dinner together that night. And,
Even I noticed the way he's sitting like this and his voice now, I feel like he's trying to make himself seem less threatening, as less threatening as possible, right? Like he's trying to be like, look at me, I'm scared, and I'm obviously nervous because I'm so sad, and I'm just a distraught little guy. It's like, he's trying his best to seem, it couldn't be me. I mean, I love my wife, and I love our cabinets.
So that would have been Monday night. Did you watch TV?
I did.
Any idea what?
American Idol.
Okay, American Idol.
Okay.
She's like, and who got voted off the show?
So you wake
And what song did she sing?
up Tuesday morning and you're in the garage on the couch?
I usually wait for her to come down. She came down after 7 o'clock, probably almost 7:30.
Shanti went back upstairs, and David started doing chores around the house. He's now about to mention the last time he supposedly saw Shanti alive, and then break into another fake hysteric. Yet this time, he will get no reassuring feedback from the detective, and the charade will rapidly dissipate.
There we go. I like when this happens, and they're like, okay, now it's time. Good cop, bad cop.
When she came down again.
Oh, boy.
She came down again, and what happened?
Came down, and I've thought about it. I tried to think exactly what time it is, but I don't know exactly. I would say probably 9:15. And the reason I know that is
She said she was going to the dentist, and he said he was going for a walk. He now attempts another fake cry, but gets ignored again.
Did you take the dogs for a walk?
Ooh, a laugh cry.
I went for a walk
By yourself?
by myself.
And where'd you go?
I went around Lake Lucerne and went out to Orange.
He comes back home and feeds the dogs.
That's all that I can remember until I went upstairs to see when we were going to pick up Jackson.
Okay, and what happens when you enter the home? Is anything unusual? When you enter the garage apartment?
So, I could hear the water is running, but it's not running. It's not like the sound of the shower running. It's just, it's
I could hear the water was running, but it's not running. It's running from the run.
trickling out of the spout.
Okay, and so you walk toward the water that you're hearing?
Yeah, walking to the bathroom.
Okay.
Just in case you didn't catch the passive-aggressive nature of that response, here it is again without subtitles.
So you walk toward the water that you're hearing?
Yeah, walking to the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of like, yeah, of course, do.
Just look at David's face. Poor David really doesn't want to be getting grilled like this anymore. Keep in mind it's almost 11 p.m. He likely didn't get a whole lot of sleep the night before, and he's been acting his ass off all throughout the day. He'll at this point be exhausted and want nothing more than to get out of that police station. But he doesn't want to challenge the detective directly and risk losing her approval. Hence he throws out a weak little display of passive aggression to see if she'll pick up on the hint, but it of course gets ignored. She will simply continue pressing with an unsympathetic tone which will cause David to revert back to appeasement. He will then begin recounting the horrific circumstances under which he supposedly found Shanti. And as this unfolds, you will see a glaring disparity in David's emotional presentation.
The door's open, and what happens? What do you see?
I see her laying with her head in the right-hand corner, and it's just extremely awful, and it doesn't look natural. Obviously, she fell, or
Obviously, she fell. She fell all right. She fell for you, and then you killed her.
something happened.
But you did shut off the water.
I did shut off the water, and it drained.
Look at the difference. I mean, like, in 10 seconds.
Or
It's obviously, she fell or something. Did you shut off the water? I did. I shut off the water.
happened.
But you did shut off the water.
I did shut off the water, and it drained, which tells me
Come
I
on,
could hear
man.
it draining when I pulled her out. I could hear. So that okay. So I guess this is all weird, right? Because she's in there, the water's on, and it's draining. It doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense.
And it's not on all the way. It's on how
Like lukewarm, so just past half.
And she's face down. So the first thing you do is what, if you recall?
I reached out and grabbed her. I reached out and touched her right arm. The water is rose colored, so there's blood in the water itself. I can see a spot of blood.
And you pull her by her arms?
So I grabbed someplace on her arm. Tried.
You know what? I'll do it. I'll move the webcam. Because we still got half. Okay. I'll do it. And this, I'll just turn that off. All right? I could have did this before. I was being like, I don't want to change who cares?
To get kind of under it a little bit.
You said she seems stiff?
Yeah. Hard to move.
Like, so it's something so interesting about him talking about his wife's stiff body being dead on the ground, and he's eating a cracker right after. Yes, it was stiff. Enjoy your peanut butter cracker there, buddy.
There's something so incredibly unnerving in the sound of the casual crunching of his snack as he
Dude, I'm telling you, I think I picked the right channel to react to stuff to. I'm not a genius, but I can pick up on things, and I'm looking at. I agree with Mr. Narrator Man. Like, that is just so. Like, okay. Once again, if we all watching this put ourselves in that position where we were innocent and innocent because he did it, but we would be innocent. If your loved one was killed and it wasn't you, and this is the day it happened, I don't think I could eat if Gordon Ramsay came in and made me a fillet in front of me, I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't be able to eat a single thing, let alone just start crunching on some crackers in the midst of talking about my wife's body. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine?
He recounts in precise detail the limp and lifeless body of his wife.
Yep.
So we'll spare you the rest of it.
I had to pull her and turn her a couple of times. Then she felt cold. You asked how she felt. She felt cold.
She felt cold.
I grabbed the,
Here he goes.
You grabbed the what?
Here he goes.
we had, when we did the bedding, we took the mattress cover off to wash it.
The detective asks David to draw a map for the purpose of illustrating the timeline
Draw a map of the United States.
of his movements. She will now shift the line of questioning and begin to gradually intensify the pressure.
When was the last time the two of you argued?
Look at him thinking. He's like, uh-oh.
Very briefly on Saturday, right before we left.
The argument was over the renovation. David likely admitted to this because Shanti's son was there for it.
The upstairs floor was very wavy, and the point of contention probably was, do we tear all of that out and put in new structure and trusses so we have a perfectly flat floor and then a perfecly flat
And then this dude loves his house.
ceiling? But I don't think it's an argument if Shanti and I are both on the same page and we're both just in agreement and upset reasonably and justifiably upset that it's taking longer. Shanti and I aren't fighting about it. We're both upset about the same thing.
Does she feel as though you don't listen to her?
No, I don't think so. She knows I listen.
Has any fight ever turned physical between the two of you?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe that one bit.
Has she ever hurt you, hit you, struck you, threw anything at you?
No.
No. Have you ever harmed her physically?
No.
David continues to pretend that he doesn't notice the accusatory nature of the questioning, so
Yeah.
the detective will now intensify the pressure to a significant degree.
She sheds. She seems to shed.
Her injuries to me, David, seem
Not self-inflicted.
really significant. More significant than from a soft tissue fall. More significant than from me tripping and falling and hitting my head and being knocked unconscious.
She elaborates on the inconsistencies while David just sits there and nods.
The issue I'm having with
So of course he's doing that. He doesn't know what to say, so he's just going to buy as much time to think of another alibi.
is I absolutely think that she was deceased before you left to go to the park.
She repeats what she said a few more
You
times,
just look at the fast forward. It's like,
while David just keeps doing what he's doing.
Okay, so I think that you've told us a significant amount
he's
of
realized his
information.
lies have hit a wall now, you know? He's hit that point of, uh-oh. I don't know what else to say. I didn't think that far. He probably thought they were just going to believe him and say, this guy could never do anything. Look at him. He's got designer frames on. He loves granite.
Been very,
Oh, he took his wife for granite. Okay, that's not it's not a time for jokes.
very cooperative, but I also think that you've left some stuff out. And I think you've left some stuff out that is maybe something got out of hand, maybe you didn't mean for it to happen, maybe you got upset, but there's something that happened between the two of you before you left that house. Because she was deceased, or on her way to being deceased, before you left that house. Now, if there's an explanation, I want to hear it.
I told you everything.
But you've left out something, David, because this woman has significant injuries. Okay, this is not from a fall.
It's so interesting, the head nod. He's like a bobblehead doll. He just cannot think of what to say.
Did you harm Shanti in any way?
Absolutely not.
Did you choke her?
Absolutely
Did
not.
you strangle her?
Without question, no.
Did you beat her?
No.
Did you hit her with anything?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Do you have injuries?
I do not.
It's not funny, but like they just cut and he's shirtless.
I do have some scratches from the bromeliads and from the
Uh-oh.
bougainvillea.
Okay.
The
I do trim
bougainvillea.
them myself.
Aside from the scratches from his plants, David had
His plants.
no injuries that could indicate a struggle. But this might explain why.
You noticed a single earring on the nightstand?
A single what?
A single diamond earring on the nightstand.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the significance of that?
Looks like she removed it before bed and didn't get a chance to remove the other one.
Because you believe that's when the attack occurred.
On the edge of the bed, where the blood was found on the On the side rail, yes.
Ah, it's the homicide detective.
And I think when she turned to take that earring out, she didn't see it coming.
Would you mind just
Now it looks like he's in a NASA space suit.
for me to be able to say David is a perfect gentleman and is in the clear and did not harm his wife? Would you mind taking a polygraph and proving that to us?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would that be a possibility? Yeah. Okay.
I know he is just crapping his pants right now.
All right.
The detective asks David if he wants another water, to which he says, sure. So she
I'll take a vodka.
brings him a water and tells him they'll be right back with a polygraph machine. But instead of coming right back, they leave him in there for just over 2 hours.
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's such a good technique. Smart.
During which time they decide not to proceed with the polygraph, but simply ramp up the confrontation.
Good. You know he's really going through it now.
Hi. You doing okay?
Yeah, it was just,
Did you sleep a little?
I did.
I know you've got to be exhausted. Or at least mentally. Yeah.
I just want to point out some things to you that I think are unusual. There's so many, I really don't know where to begin,
Uh-oh.
to be perfectly honest with you. I think that
He's chugging that water.
I find that the living arrangement, I find to be completely unusual for you to be primarily living downstairs.
I'm not primarily living downstairs.
Well, sleeping.
What I said is that I sleep down there, but I don't go down there until we're done with dinner. We're done watching TV or doing what we've done for the evening.
Okay,
80 or
just
90%
hear
of
me
the
out.
time. Okay.
So
He's starting to get a little defensive here.
you don't go upstairs during the day while she's working. You leave her alone. And then
Not entirely. I do go up there.
Okay.
But I don't work up there while she's on the phone because it's distracting. It's her office. I think that I've explained extremely well. She didn't sleep. She did, but you said.
He continues defending the fact that he was exiled to the garage.
I think
Exiled like a survivor.
it's an adjustment and a transition that she didn't feel like she could make right now because she couldn't afford the time that it would take.
But she's sleeping in the only part of the residence that's semi-comfortable. You're sleeping in the garage with the dogs.
how do you explain
He's speechless.
this woman's head being swollen, her eyes being black?
And would never, ever hurt her.
See, he definitely thought that they would just believe that she like hit her head on the faucet. It's like the faucet can't fight you. You can get one blow to the head or something, but the faucet's not gonna. The faucet doesn't have hands, and if it does, then you might need to move out of that bathroom.
So when you pulled her out of the tub, you agreed with me that the water came out of the tub. There's not a spot of water on the floor, David.
Uh-oh.
The carpet isn't wet. The carpet isn't wet from where she was pulled out of the bathtub, sopping wet, all the way around to the front of the couch. The carpet's not wet. There's no blood on the carpet.
Uh-oh,
Notice
David.
how little David moves compared to the detective. It doesn't correlate with anything in particular. It's just sort of interesting to watch.
My guess is she wasn't treating you very well.
Ooh, she's starting to get something.
There's only so much anyone can take before they snap.
Appreciate the very kind things that you've said.
I'm missing what you're saying because of your suit that you're moving, but I'm kind of missing it. It's really loud, but I missed what you said because you're talking so low.
I'm sorry, it's Polly. I appreciate the things that you've said and the genuine consideration and thoughtfulness behind it.
David, you killed this woman.
Wow.
I cooperated so I could give you all the information and all
You cooperated because you thought that your language would overwhelm us,
Yeah.
and you thought you could pull the wool over our
I
eyes.
didn't think there was any
Now they're really switched to bad cop. Well, not bad cop. You know what I mean.
any effort to do that.
All these tangents, all this flowery,
The tangents
fancy
were
language,
answers to
all the
questions that you
details.
asked. To questions that you asked.
See, look at him now.
You know, you fake cried for about 7 or 8 hours today. Not one tear came out of your eyes. Not one.
And when you're really crying, not just the tears, but puffiness in the eyes, red eyes, you know, I know this word's nasty, but like snot coming down your nose and just, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, when you're really going through it and you're crying, you're a mess. You're shake. It's just obvious.
One non-scene.
I watch a lot of reality TV. Okay, I'm a guru. I know when someone's crying on reality TV for real when they're not too, and this guy is faking it.
With the officers not in this room, you have fake cried over this woman's death since we made contact with you for hours, and every single time you fake cried, we wrote it down. Not one tear came out of your eyes. Not one.
And while he was in the room by himself when they weren't in there for the total of like 2 hours and 2 hours or whatever, there wasn't one moment where he was crying. That's when you would break down, and if you were innocent and like, oh my gosh, like my wife is gone, and I'd be like on the floor.
One. Nope. Okay. We've been
I like
extremely
the tag
patient with
team
you
there.
for a
She's
very
like, nope.
long time. I am losing my patience at this point because there is not a lick of remorse for what you did to this woman. Not even a little bit. You're staring at a woman you're telling us you're in love with, and you've done nothing the whole time but close your eyes, huddle up, and protect your own ass. So we're just going to prove you're full of shit and solve this case. And I'm glad you think that's funny.
Oh, wow, he's laughing.
I'm glad you think that's funny.
What a psycho.
The investigators would exit the room shortly after this moment
Psychopath.
at 4:56 a.m.
Once again, I think he was more in love with his house and his plans for the house than he was his family.
David would then sit there for a little over 2 hours before finally asking to go home. But before being driven back by one of the officers, they asked him if they could take his photograph. He cheerfully obliged.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? This looks like a photo you take of somebody when they're about to go on a trip and they're like, all right, we're going to Hawaii. Look at the face, like no redness in the eyes, no bloodshot, smiling, no redness, no puffiness, no nothing. Looks like the dude's about to go to Cancun.
Judging by his expression, he may have thought he had just gotten away with murder, but a grand jury indicted him 4 months later, and he was arrested at his mother's house.
Good.
When he was told he was facing life
not so happy there, are you, David?
Imprisonment, and that the evidence against him was overwhelming, he started acting crazy and went for the insanity defense.
Oh, here
he was
we go.
then sent to a maximum security psych unit, where he spent 5 years before a judge ruled
My God, he was there for 5 years?
him competent to stand trial. This is what he
Oh my gosh. Maybe he did go crazy.
looked like on the day he was transferred back to jail.
Wow.
His trial began on October 12th and lasted 6 days. He maintained his plea of not guilty, with his official defense being that he was out of the house walking the dogs while an unknown intruder broke in and
unknown intruder
murdered Shanti.
You heard about the sleeping arrangement. You heard how the defendant was sleeping in the garage with the dogs while Shanti was staying in the essential, one-bedroom apartment, separate and apart from him. And this had been going on, for over a year. This was an intentional killing. A random stranger that comes into a house isn't going to, take the time that it takes to strangle a person, to move them to a tub. Not take anything? Doesn't make any sense. Leave no sign behind, no fingerprints, no DNA? That doesn't make any sense. You have the severe beating of Shanti. You have the injuries to both sides of her face. You have the fractured skull, the swollen shut eye, the damaged eye on the other side. That you saw
Man, he really beat that woman. That's disgusting.
intense bruising and bleeding in both sides of her mouth. This was a beating. So at some point in that beating, the defendant, and you can infer this from the facts, intended to cause the death.
No.
He did it with a premeditated design. We ask that you convict him of first-degree murder.
I pray they did.
Thank you.
The defense mainly tries to evoke empathy for the defendant, but
This guy, the bow tie, looks like a A little puppet.
It ends up just roasting the fake crazy out of him.
Shanti's the only source of the income. She's the breadwinner. He does nothing other than take care of the pool and the dogs. It's about circumstantial evidence, pure supposition, all steered by Teresa Sprague, who prejudged this case based upon a phone call received from her from an officer at the scene about these crocodile tears. This is just a hunch, ladies and gentlemen. A hunch. If you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras, sort of thing. Because that's the point. You don't get to fit a square peg in a round hole because it's convenient.
he's just trying to grasp at any straw he can here. I love the Friends reference, Chandler.
And that's what happened here. With the rush to judgment, with the confirmational bias, those two
Your Honor, my client is not guilty. Why? I don't know.
detectives went into a room with David Tronis and worked him over. He sat there for 16 hours, bared his soul to them, literally and figuratively, told them what he knew, told them what he saw. The government's the one spinning here. The government's the one taking the insignificant and stacking them into a pyramid. And I'm confident that after carefully deliberating, that you'll come back and return the only just verdict in this case, and that's a verdict of not guilty.
I think that he might be a young child that just, went into a machine and became an adult for a day. Because what was that?
Verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment.
Good.
So it says we all, dated at Orange County, Florida, on the 18th day of October, 2023, signed by the foreperson.
Goodbye, David.
In the midst of this tragedy, Shanti's impact as a mother was shown through her son, Jack.
Oh, I forgot about the son. That's terrible.
His victim impact statement was both heartrending and dignified.
My family and I have been waiting for about 5 years for justice. I miss her so much. I would have never thought the day before was the last time I would see my mother alive. I miss the times where we would go to Universal, or just the simple times, like walking the dogs or going to the park.
Poor kid, man.
She was the best mom I could ever ask for. That's it.
Defense, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Jackson.
I hope he rots
Mr.
in
Thomas,
hell.
anything you wish to say prior to sentencing?
Coward.
I think you just said no, is that right? Then in this case, the court will adjudicate you guilty, will sentence you to life imprisonment. Luck to you, sir. And the court will be in recess.
This is his latest mugshot. He is currently being housed at the Graceville Correctional Facility in maximum security, where he is expected to remain.
Good. Justice served. What a damn shame, man. All for a freaking reality show. What a nut. All right, well, there's my first interrogation reaction. Hope that was enjoyable. Sorry it took me 15 minutes to move the camera, but then I was all right, I'll do it. Okay, don't worry. Thank you for watching. If you've made it to the end, you're one of the few that have made it to the end. So thank you so much to for being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like I said, and leave a comment. Just anything. Just talk crap about David if you want, because he deserves it. But that's it. Thanks for the love on the new channel here. Ryan's Real Reactions signing off. I'll see you next time right here on the channel. Peace out.